please.
Hi, Dan.
After that ending, after that match, what's your overall feeling?
Yeah, like proud, obviously, of what the players produced. Tough blow, though, of course, to concede a goal that late. With the work and the togetherness and the detail and everything that went into keeping it as tight as it was for so long. A tough blow for them. So just disappointed for the players because they have given a lot in an awful lot of games against some top sides, and we've found a way to come up slightly short in all of them so far. So, but yeah, an excellent performance. Excellent. I thought, of course, there was an awful lot of defending, which, we sort of accepted before the game with the game plan. We've tried to be aggressive in some games, and if players get things wrong in that, we've ended up quite open. So stayed really low together. Tried to reduce the spaces, and maybe could have been a bit better if you look at last season. A bit better on transition. Probably the quality on transition last year probably gave us a bit more relief. But apart from that, we did manage to threaten them a few times. Could have scored one or two more, and defended every situation with the detail that we'd worked on for the last 2 days, and came up 20 seconds or so short.
The Premier League match centre said about the winner that Bernardo Silva wasn't in Salah's line of vision, and also he didn't have an impact on the action. Do you agree with that?
I think there will be some small details and minutiae in there around, like you can make an argument either way if you really want to. I think what sprung to me really quickly was the West Ham game last year, where we sent clear evidence to the referees that Tawanda wasn't in line of vision of the West Ham goalkeeper. He could see above him, and the West Ham goalkeeper confirmed himself that he could see the ball. The reason that we were told it was still disallowed was that he was in close proximity to the goalkeeper. So Bernardo Silva, of course, ends up not in Jose's line of vision. But, I mean, you can't get much closer than he was. Their feet were probably a yard apart. So I hoped in that moment, while they were making the decision and while they were on their way to the screen, that the same reasoning that our West Ham goal was disallowed would mean that this one was disallowed. But the referees decided that there was enough difference, or that it wasn't that, and we have to respect that. I managed to remain fairly calm, managed to try and keep the subs away from the officials and keep the staff away from the officials, because it felt like a tough blow. But really calm. And I hoped that they would reach that conclusion, but didn't have too much confidence that it would go our way, just off the back of what we've suffered recently of VAR and refereeing decisions. I didn't have too much faith that we would get the rubber to green on that one. Okay.
How do you deal with that inconsistency that several players can do?
Yeah, no, nothing. Which is why I have to respond in the way I respond, which is just stay calm and look at the rest of the game. And could we have done better with Diaz or Stones? Sorry, from the corner. We've had to defend 18 though. So there's a lot that have gone in, and the lads have defended them really well. So there's absolutely nothing I can do about decisions that are made. It's a foul on Guedes as well before it. Definite. I mean, Nunes has got two hands in his back before he wins the ball. So little things. Their left back putting one in the top corner with his wrong foot didn't help either. We've had a few of them this season. But yeah, the refereeing will be the refereeing, and there's nothing I can do about it. So as I said, I remain really respectful. Tried to keep everyone under control, and of course gutted that we take no points, but we need to get ready for Brighton.
Will you speak to Howard Webb or?
But yeah, only from an understanding point of view. But they will argue their case. That they you get these reviews back, and I'm sure it will be 5-0 in favour of it being a correct decision. So for me, that still doesn't mean it is. It's like, who are these 5 people? Do we have to take that as categorically that it is the right decision? I think if you use real common sense, if that's disallowed, it's so similar to the West Ham one that, what is the difference? Okay, Tawanda is more in line with the ball, but what does that mean? Because the goalie can still see it. So I think they're similar enough that the same result should be found. But I'm sure I'll be told differently. I'll probably speak to them just to find out, but I'm sure I'll be told different.
Because that's what Jose saw. I'm assuming he's giving you a bit of a headache after that.
No headache. No headache.
But with Johnston injured, is it?
Johnson was injured today, yeah.
He's played very honestly today. He's given you a decision to make.
But not a headache. I know, like, Jose's trained really well since Sam came in. Like, he's been excellent. So, Sam was injured today, but Jose was always ready, and put in a real good performance. So, no headache. Really clear on where we go next.
Was Andre any injured?
No, he was fine. Andre was fine.
Just a tactical decision.
Yeah, just thought, the detail of the game plan, he struggled with at times. He was the one really out there that struggled to get to a couple of things that we needed him to. Obviously, he's had a long flight, a lot of travel, probably got back the latest, I think, out of everybody, and just felt that Tommy at that moment and moving Mario in one would help us with they managed to get inside our box a couple of times with Gundogan or Foden in the first half, and I think a fresher, more alert Andre that hadn't had the week that he's had would have been able to deal with them better. So obviously Tommy helped us in that.
Gary,
Yeah.
sorry to take you back to the VAR. If you look at the two respective incidents, if both of those had been allowed, the Kilman one and this one, I don't think you could argue that either of them would have been clangers, could you? So is that why this club took the stance it did against VAR? Because you're having these marginal decisions that are made by somebody else when before it was just the referee?
Yeah, no, I think I like the fact that we can go into detail to try and get decisions right. I love detail, and all of my game plans are based on small details, and so I like the fact that we can go into detail. I do think it's hard to be involved with Wolves at the minute, either as a supporter, as a player, as a head coach, as a sporting director, or whatever it is, and not feel hard done by the amount that have gone against us. I think if I speak to the officials all the time when they're like, I can't remember who they come over to book. They come over to book Pablo, I think, and I just said to the ref, like, I've calmed Pablo down, but you do understand that these things are going against us a lot. So it's very hard to have no reaction from the football club at that moment when there seems to be an awful lot of them. So it does feel a bit like that, but we have to get on with it. There's no chance that people are purposely against Wolves. I mean, if we ever get to a place there, then the whole game's in a real bad place. So there's no chance that people are doing things against Wolves on purpose, let's be clear. But is there something in the subconscious around decision making, or of, without even knowing it, are you more likely to give it to Manchester City than Wolves? Because my focus and my senses are heightened when we're facing Man City and Pep and Haaland. Are the officials the same? When it's Haaland and when it's Manchester City, is there something in there that they, not on purpose, that influences decision making? And I've spoken to them about this as well, and they obviously guarantee me there isn't. But they are human. And Manchester City scoring a last-minute winner is a big thing. It's like a bigger thing than Wolves scoring a last-minute goal against West Ham. So maybe there's something subconsciously that means that you are less likely to get them. But yeah, there's not really. I don't want to speak about them too much because we can't influence them. We have zero control over what it is. So we need to concentrate purely on ourselves and trying to make sure that we get some points on the board. Okay.
Obviously, Gary today, does that give you something to build on for what looks like a really crucial period coming up?
Yeah, but like every game plan we go with is really detailed. Like that's not just a back five. That's not like, lads, back five today, all the best, let me know how you get on. Like there's an awful lot that goes into that, as there was against Liverpool when we held them at bay for ages in a back four. So yeah, no, of course I've been a back five always against Manchester City, I think, as a coach. Don't think I've ever not been a five. And we'll see. Next weekend I'll try and come up with the best game plan. The big thing was how well the lads stuck to it compared to Brentford, how far away we got from it at Brentford, whether that's emotion or making an error in the first minute and then ending up all over the place. But today it shows the players that if you stick to it, how it can bridge gaps against good sides like it did today. So just a nice learning point for the players that, come on, like that needs to be the level. There's no excuses for not being able to carry out the detail that you're given. And if they do, as you saw today, we do have some quality that we can cause teams problems. The point I make to the players is, yeah, we've got loads of good players here, but so is everyone else. Like the whole league has got good players. Like Crystal Palace are down the bottom near us, and their front three's Eze, Mateta, and Nketiah. You know, like, it's a good front three. So good players is not going to solve everything for us. We need to be together. We need to be organised. We need to be detailed. Need to be able to respond to disappointment. All those little things are going to be far more important than just having good players out there. So, trying to push those levels and make sure that we get closer to today's than Brentford.
Gary, you must be delighted that Erling Haaland barely had any impact.
Yeah, really similar. Obviously, I didn't want to give too much away before, but really similar game plan to last season, where we tried to keep Dorse in a 2v1 with him in bigger areas, and then happy for him to defend against him on his own in and around the goal, because Dorse is excellent around the goal. Just sort of slight differences around which side we went with, because obviously we had Pedro last year who could play on the right, so Cunha off the left, there's a similar sort of outlet to Pedro, but the rest of the game plan was very similar, and it suited what we had out there. You know, the three centre-backs did well. Full-backs defended well 1v1. I thought Nels was back to his best today, defending 1v1. Jorgen gave everything, but I've spoken to him a lot. He needs to get through. We need him. He needs to get through longer than an hour before he looks tired, you know. I'm sure I get criticised for taking centre-forwards off, but Jorgen in every game has run his race after 60, 65 minutes. He's either got cramp or he looks not the same. So whether the change of league from Spain, whatever it is, but these little details, because, you know, everyone thinks, oh, that's okay, Geds has gone on and give us energy. But if Jorgen's on, do we concede the goal from the corner? Does Jorgen help us from the corner? So little things like that are really, really important. So we make sure we push those little margins in our favour, and Jorgen knows how important it is that he gets himself in better shape. Same with Channy. You know, Channy's struggled to hit the heights that he hit last season. Needs to get himself sharper, and so all these little things that we can impact, we have to impact.
Okay, just one final one. Obviously, considering what happened at Brentford, performance-wise and in terms of fans and a few chants, to have them chanting your name, albeit before the City goal in that last few minutes of that game, it's going to be important to have them with you, particularly.
Yeah, no, it is, and I'm happy to be blamed for everything that I get wrong. It's like, no problem. You know, if me putting Channy on last week was a bad call, then no problem. Like, let me know. It's no like, I can take it. But there is an awful lot of good work going on, and I hope they can see that they know the situation. As I said to you yesterday, I bumped into a lot of people in the last 2 weeks around Wolves, and every single message I received was just supportive, and they understand the situation, and they understand the transfers, and they understand what we're trying to do with the younger players, and that we're trying to get them up to Premier League level, and the fixture list. So there's loads of things out there that make it tough at this moment, but I am responsible for everything, as I said yesterday. So no problem. Like the goal at the end, we can blame the referee if we want, or we can blame me. It's my team that conceded a corner. So I'll look at me before I look at the officials. Of course, I have to answer the officials' questions with you, but the first thing I did when I got in my office was like, how's Stones got ahead of there? How have we not got to Stones? What have we done? What could we have done? So yeah, happy to be responsible for all of it. I'd just be a bit happier if we had a few more points. Okay. Yeah.
You've been playing football, we've been watching football. You know, there's always been this underlying feeling that, you know, referees favour the big clubs. Are you basically saying that somewhere what is still happening with VAR?
I can categorically tell you that they definitely don't mean to. They are 100% honest, and they're doing their job the best they can. I just know that from a human point of view, it's tough. It's tough. Not like I feel different playing Manchester City to I do playing somebody else in, you know, the Carabao Cup in the first round. It's a different feeling, and I'm sure they feel the same. The bigger the game, I'm sure they feel it. You know, they're human, and I don't know if might be miles off, but it just feels like there could be. You know, if I had to upset someone in a street and there was a little guy and a big guy, I'm upsetting the little guy. Nothing against little guys, but you know what I mean. Like there is something in there that. And they definitely don't do it on purpose. I know they're 100% honest and they're doing the best job they can, and I respect them fully. But maybe there's something that just edges it in that direction when it's really tight.